In today's video, I'm going to be showing you a vocal chain sequence that will help you get some professional sounding vocals in your mix. So let's get into the video. Hi guys, and welcome back to the channel. If you're new to this channel, my name is Jay. I make music production tutorials on YouTube in Cubase and FL Studio. So consider subscribing and click that post notification bell so that you get notified every time I upload a brand new video. So in today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you a vocal chain sequence, or rather the arrangement of plugins that will help you get some professional sounding vocals. The first step in the mixing process is removing background noise from your vocals. I've already cleaned and removed the noise for my vocals, and I've cut out some of the things that I don't really need here, and I've also done the balancing of the levels. I've got some videos, I'll link them in the description, on how to get rid of the noise from your vocals and also how to balance your vocals. What I want us to talk about here is just the vocal chain that will give you some professionally sounding vocals. So if I go to my lead vocal group channel right here, I've got all these plugins which I'm going to explain exactly how they came about. I'm going to switch off all the plugins so that you listen to what the vocal was before. So this is what it was. So after I was done with everything, this is what it became. So I'm going to explain the entire vocal chain sequence here. So let me just switch this off and switch everything else off. So I'm going to start with the first plugin in this vocal chain, which is Pro G by FabFilter. I've already gotten rid of the background noise using a denoiser, and I did a video about that. I'll link it in the description. You can just follow and see which denoiser you can use to get rid of the noise. For this Pro G, all I do is come here and pick this preset right here and just leave it there. So the next thing in the vocal chain sequence is a corrective EQ, and what we are doing during this process is basically just getting rid of the annoying frequencies in the vocal, or in simple terms, the frequencies that you don't really like in the vocal, and also just rolling off the low end of the vocal, usually between 80 and 150 Hz, depending on the type of vocal or the gender. Is it male or female? So you find yourself somewhere around that area, between 200 and 400, even going up to 500 Hz. This is where you find some muddy frequencies and those boxy frequencies, the room effects and so on. This is where you reduce them. So let me just solo one of these and let's just listen to the sound that I'm talking about. So that's the sound also around this area. So moving on, between 1000 and 4000 Hz, this is where you find those noisy sounds or honky sounds, just some sounds resembling a car horn. Let me show you this by playing some of these frequencies. So I'm going to solo this first frequency and play it. And also listen to the other frequency. So these frequencies are really annoying and you are supposed to reduce them during this process. So now let me just play the before and after the EQ. So now let's play after the EQ. And then we move on to dynamic compression. During this process, all you do is use a compressor to tame off some peaks of the vocal in order to reduce the dynamic range and make the vocal more consistent in terms of tonality and energy. So for this type of compression, you would like to go with a fast attack and a fast release, and just push the threshold until you see that you're actually getting a more consistent flow in the vocal. So let me just play this without the compressor. Now with the compressor.
kuna kuchimala pakachikapata wazigula chizidi kupambana na chivumilie shida na raha.
This compressor is called TuCo Compressor by SonEq. I'll leave the link in the description. So we'll move on to tonal shaping EQ. So what we are doing during this process is boosting some of the sweet sounding points of the vocal. So between 1500 and 2500, you can boost a little bit of that mid to give it that presence. And then around 3000 going all the way to 10,000 Hz, this area is good for giving your vocal some air and presence. So if you look at this right here, around 3508, I'm boosting a bit of this area. From 6000, I'm also boosting some of the high to give the vocal some air. Let me play this without the EQ.
Shida na raha kuna kuchimala.
Now with the EQ.
Shida na raha kuna kuchimala.
So now we move on to the next stage, which is tonal compression. During this stage, all we are doing is trying to get some compactness in the vocal. So the difference between this compressor is that the first compressor had a fast attack and a fast release, but for this one you want to have something mid to slow attack and mid to slow release. The ratio should be 2:1, and the threshold would take it all the way between -30 and -31 dB. After this process, you might find that maybe your vocal feels like it has been reduced a bit in terms of loudness, so you can use the gain to boost it a little bit. So let me just play this without the compressor.
Shida na raha kuna kuchimala pakachikapata wazigula chizidi.
Now with the compressor.
Shida na raha kuna kuchimala pakachikapata wazigula.
So the vocal is now compact, and then you can simply add a deesser. All we are doing is reducing the S's and just those sibilances in the vocal. So you can find these sibilances and S's somewhere from 3.5 Hz to maybe 10,000 Hz. So if I solo this, and those are the S's that we are removing from the vocal. And now add some saturation to your vocal to give it warmth and just boost those nice sounding harmonics. So during saturation, what is happening is just giving your vocal a little bit of distortion, which in turn creates some nice harmonics in the vocal, or rather just boosts the already nice sounding harmonics in the vocal. So there are a lot of saturation plugins out there. You can use whichever plugin, they all work the same. Let me play the vocal without the saturator.
Shida na raha kuna kuchimala.
So now let me play with the saturator.
Shida na raha kuna kuchimala pakachikapata.
So this gives the vocal some warmth. And then finally you can add your delay. I won't talk much about the delay because I've talked about this in the previous videos a lot, and I've got a whole full video about a delay and also the reverb. So after I add the delay and the reverb, this is what we get.
Shida na raha kuna kuchimala pakachikapata wazigula chizidi kupambana na chivumilie shida na raha.
So now this with the beat.
Pata wazigula chizidi kupambana na chivumilie shida na raha kuna kuchimala pakachikapata. Safari yetu ikonga haikuchimala, chongeze sana nguvu ntichikabula. Sino chivunike mwe kwa kukosha, kupata na kukosha ni majaliwa. Siku yetu yuko ya kulawira, chize kushimiwa na kufuatiwa. Adui zetu naweze wakaira, yaja walongire kuyajutia.
So that's how you get a professional sounding vocal using this vocal chain. Alright guys, thanks a lot for watching. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and comment in the comment section below. Let me know what you think. And if you are new to this channel, don't forget to subscribe and click that post notification bell so that you get notified every time I upload a brand new video. Also, feel free to follow me on Instagram at TheMg. Let's interact there. See you in my next video. Peace.